Tonight's Eye on Earth, searching for the Cape Cod blob. It is not a sea creature, but it is doing real damage to the lobster industry. WBZ meteorologist Jacob Wycoff went on the water to show us what the blob is and why scientists are desperate to get rid of it.
I've been in the water since 1970. It's a way of life for me.
A way of life now threatened by an enemy only recently identified. It's a thin layer of water with very low oxygen levels, first discovered in 2019 sitting right along the floor of Cape Cod Bay, and nicknamed the Blob.
About 3 years ago, when we were hauling gear and we came up with lobsters in the trap that were dead. They didn't look like they were dead. They looked like they were beautiful lobsters. And you pick them up, and they were just dead.
Puzzled by that lifeless catch, lobsterman Bill Shapralis quickly reached out to the experts at the state's Department of Marine Fisheries.
So when we got the call up, we pretty much dropped what we were doing and sort of scrambled to try to figure out what in the world is going on. You know, started looking at the dissolved oxygen content. We were like, uh-oh, that's really bad. We found what the problem was really quickly once we got the right instrument in the water.
Any animal that breathes underwater relies on dissolved oxygen. Normally, lobsters are able to avoid those oxygen-depleted layers, but things can change once they're trapped in pots.
Essentially, they eventually suffocate. It's actual suffocation because they're not getting enough oxygen.
Today, Bill Chapralis and others in the lobster fleet are part of an ongoing effort to better understand these blobs, with the eventual goal of steering clear of them.
These are the data loggers.
Ultimately, what is this measuring?
It's measuring the oxygen level and the temperature on the bottom.
Researchers at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute and the Center for Coastal Studies have also joined the effort in tackling this problem.
From a scientific point of view, why it's happening now is a really interesting question.
Scientists theorize that the environment of Cape Cod Bay has changed dramatically over the last few decades.
One of the things we think is happening is not only the water's a lot warmer, but the wind, the summer winds have changed.
Well, we're all working together to really figure this issue out. And we want to kind of get a handle on why things are happening.
We're not going to put giant bubblers at the bottom of Cape Cod Bay and mix this away. So I don't think there's an engineering solution, but I think if you understand it and you can predict it, then you're in a much better position.
When I was on the water, I was lucky enough to collect some data at Scorton's Ledge, that's just to the north of Dennis, an area that some lobstermen reported poor catches that day. The oxygen levels happened to be just fine, and as lobsterman Bill put it to me, lobsters, they have fins. They can swim away. That's a whole different issue. Pauline Anaritis?
Getting them to do that. Jacob, so incredibly interesting, and it just goes to show how everything is connected.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the bottom line is there's no engineering solution to this. It's just about tracking it and finding it so we can avoid it.
A lot of smart people are on it. Jacob, thanks for that story. And coming up, it's a